office hours. I've been doing this quite a bit, probably for a year now with freelancers. And really, it helps me grow my own business when I have to think through why I do things. Where people say, hey, why do you do X, Y, Z? So, well, and then I stupidly thought to myself, wait, why am I doing this for freelancers? Should be doing it for Shopify store owners. This is my first pilot, my inaugural office hours for Shopify store owners, and there's some e-commerce professionals who joined as well. And really, it's just it's a Q&A, a chat. Whoever will go around, see what pressing issues people have, what keeps you up at night about your business, and then discuss it and see where it goes. And we'll run for an hour. I am recording it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably nothing. But I figured I'd rather have it than not. At the very least, I'll just send the link to everybody to go back and review. Yeah. Who's got? We'll start. I can see. We'll start with Logan. Logan, any pressing questions? Anything on your mind?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I've figured out how to use paid traffic pretty well. Lots of Facebook ads, tutorials, AdWords, things like that. But my question is really around like the getting organic traffic and link building and content marketing and things like that. So really just best practices in ways that like I'm investing in the long haul for the business. So not something that's going to get me a spike in traffic today, but something that I could do over the next 6 to 12 months to really, get authority and organic traffic.
All right. Number one, I like that jacket. It's a cool jacket.
Thank you.
Number two, you've got Facebook ads working. That's fantastic. And you're right. The downside of Facebook ads, of course, is as soon as you stop paying for them, you stop getting the traffic from it. So it is worthwhile to do both. And they're content marketing plus this, and it's not mutually exclusive at all. So in terms of content marketing, and you said it's a long game, that's the right way to look at it. I think you've got a great mindset here. I always tell people, SEO, content marketing, that stuff, it's like planting a garden. But really, you just want to, if the Facebook ads are about sales and copywriting, you want to make your blog posts, all that stuff needs to be content marketing. And just, in broad strokes, essentially, you just want to answer questions that your customers have in your content marketing. And then those become long tail keyword phrases that pop up in Google. Maybe it takes 3 weeks, maybe it takes 3 months for you to start seeing traffic. And then that leverages, that gets people into the top of the funnel with your Facebook ads. I assume you're doing remarketing, but those people visit your site, leave, and then they're in your Facebook ads funnel, which is great. But the easiest way, of course, to figure out what to write is to ask your customers. If you send out an email survey and say something as simple as like, hey, what would be valuable to know? What's a pressing question? Well, what's your niche? What are you doing?
I'm in jewelry, and so we make jewelry out of rare raw materials with stories to them, so really unique pieces.
Okay. So the easiest way to start would probably be, for most people, myself included, is teach what you know and teach what you do. So kind of, if you walk people through the process of like, all right, here's how we made this unique, interesting piece of jewelry, and go through, like a sort of not necessarily a DIY, but like here's from sketch to, concept to like our lost wax casting, and then explain, something to that effect. And then from there, you start looking at what keyword phrases work. The other option for content marketing is this really cool tool, and I'll paste the link in chat. And I think I talk about this in Ecommerce Hacks Weekly, is BuzzSumo.
Yeah.
Which is amazing for content marketing, where you can look up by topic, and figure out, like within a topic, what ranks well. And you can also figure out, like if you give it a competitor's website, it'll tell you what works for them.
Awesome.
So, the short answer is, just start. Just start writing, make it a habit, and it becomes like a shotgun approach, in that effect. And then you see what works and kind of start leveraging that. Or look at what works for your competitors with BuzzSumo, or just ask your customers.
Cool.
And then I think the easy way is teach what you know. So hope that helps. Next person I see in my chat window is Drew Thomas. Drew, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Very well. What pressing questions do you have about your business?
I don't actually have super pressing questions. I just figured I'd join the discussion
Sure.
and I could like get some information that way. But I don't.
No, of
Off the top
course.
of my head, I don't really have it. Yeah.
That's okay. And I'm sure, something may
Cool.
come up. You can jump in with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Josh Schubert is next in my list.
Yeah. Hi, Kurt.
Howdy.
Hey. So like I said in my email, I'm basically kind of working backwards. So, a lot of
I
my
imagine,
questions
well,
may be
tell us
kinda-
about working backwards. What do you mean by working backwards?
Well, my business right now is established. I mean, we're 10 years old, and I could basically cut off all checkout on my website and still be able to function fine. It would only cut out about 5% of my sales.
Okay.
So
Oh, you have an eBay business, yes?
eBay and Amazon and
Okay.
distributors.
Okay. So this is
we're-
about growing your Shopify store as an additional channel for this business.
Correct. And so at this point, I'm still about a week out from even opening the Shopify store. So all the things that everybody here may know from running one for a while, I don't know yet.
Right. But you understand inventory and logistics and fulfillment. I work a lot with Amazon sellers. I love working with Amazon sellers because they've validated businesses and they say, and they're often very, they make very data-driven decisions. And then we help, they say, well, I don't want, I want to develop a brand and I want to own my customer list. And that's the downside, of course, to like Amazon, eBay, is those places could shut you down at any time. And that scares people. So it makes sense to build out your Amazon store or your Shopify store. So number one, like start working on brand building with those other channels. And eBay is nice because you get the people's email address. Amazon, you don't, but you've got all this data, right? So you can leverage that stuff in your store. So let's say you build the store. The hard part, if you're used to marketplaces, is you pay the marketplaces and they give you traffic, which is awesome. And it's often like Amazon and eBay. I mean, these people they're wallet out, ready to buy. That's why they're in a marketplace. Whereas your Shopify store, it's a different mindset. You've got to have more touch points with people. But one thing you could do as a successful Amazon seller is export all of the phone numbers of your customers. So they don't give you email addresses. But you can export all their phone numbers, import that into Facebook as a custom audience. And then, you're selling sports apparel, jerseys. A lot of that stuff is repeat purchases. So, you could start off simply by emailing all your eBay customers. You've got their email addresses. And then announcing, hey, we opened the store and you bought from us on eBay. Here's a 10% off coupon for your first purchase from our Shopify store. And then you could also engage in referral marketing where you want to make them the hero. And you say, hey, if you want to tell your friends about it, you could sign up for a referral program and your friends get 10% off. So then that makes they get social status by promoting your brand, right?
Yeah.
And then another good trick, you take those Amazon phone numbers, or the phone numbers of your customers from Amazon, import to Facebook as a custom audience, and then Facebook will say, okay, we can get 2 million people who look like this and advertise to them, or we can advertise to these past customers, and same deal where they're interested in that product. So it's a kind of remarketing. It's shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. So I guess that does bring up one of my pains that I'm going to have to deal with is that I do have probably 15 to 20,000 customers in my in QuickBooks and in an Excel spreadsheet.
You're off to a good start.
And I don't know how to get those to my Shopify store and to, when I do open a Klaviyo account without being afraid of just getting blacklisted or,
Okay.
Looking like I'm spamming everybody. So
that's a good fear to have. No one wants to be a spammer. The solution here is export everybody, import them into Klaviyo, and then send them one single email, one broadcast email that just says, hey, you purchased from me in the past. We've started a new store. If you want to keep hearing updates about this store, do nothing. Or if you don't, here's the link to unsubscribe right now. And I'm sorry for bothering you. That would be probably the safe way out of it. They did buy from you. So technically, we can consider this a transactional email where they sort of opted in. Is long as we're upfront with them and saying, this is what we're doing, this is why we're emailing you because you bought from us in the past, and opt out right now if you don't want to hear from us, and we're sorry.
Okay.
So you invite the unsubscribe, and I think that's a safe way around it.
Okay.
And then make it more personal, so sign it with your name from your brand as opposed to just like info at.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and I say this as someone who's on the receiving end of a lot of awful outreach emails. So.
Yeah. No, I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, and you do stress that to make the email personal, and it come across a lot better.
Yeah, people, human to human is how we want to sell, H to H.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Who else do I have here? Ona, you have been. How are you?
Good. Can you hear?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just listening. I have a jewelry business as well.
Okay.
And it's, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It's been there for a while, and I've tried everything from hiring an agent, and I think it's just converting, right? I think I get I sell my jewelry mostly in shops, I think, because people need to wear it, test it out, see if they like it. I think what fails is they don't come to the shop. So that's where I wanted to switch over. I wanted to switch over from selling in shops to selling into my store. And I think that there's a disconnect.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough. Truthfully, jewelry is an incredibly competitive business to be in. And the really, I haven't worked with many jewelry stores, but the successful ones seem to have some kind, they have a niche, they have some kind of unique positioning, competitive advantage, where they could say, this is the special thing we do, or this is who we sell to. It's easier on marketplaces to sell this stuff, but then trying to develop a brand, it's tough, just because it's a very commoditized business. As far as the people need to try it on and see it, the easy way around this is include a lifestyle photo of someone wearing the jewelry, which helps, and then offer free returns if you can. That will ease a lot of people's anxiety about having to try it on.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to free shipping, which, at this point we all know to do free returns as well.
Yeah.
And then you just have to be smart about people who may abuse it.
Yeah. No, I think that's the biggest, is converting them from going into a shop and on the website. I think branding, like you said, branding is tough too.
Yeah. You have to, it's brand building. And I think some of the successful jewelry stores, they put a face to it. They tell a story that helps. Really big, good example would be, hey, Paul, who's the guy who does the Lord of the Rings ring? Hans Jensen, right? Jens Hansen, thank you. Jens Hansen. Hold on, I'm trying to Google it and get the link for you. We did performance optimization for this gentleman. And I'll paste the link into the chat, jenshansen.com. Oh shoot, his website used to open with a big photo of him, and he's has a waxed mustache, and now it doesn't. Oh well. So it's not. I guess it's no longer a good example for this. But Jens Hansen is a guy in New Zealand who sells custom jewelry, like custom wedding jewelry, fairly not super expensive, but more premium stuff. And also happened to make the One Ring for the Lord of the Rings movies. So then they use that to leverage it and tell that story. But they had a weird, it's kind of a split audience where you've got Lord of the Rings fans and people who just want this very New Zealand style jewelry. So, but they do a lot of really, really fantastic content marketing. So I think that's and storytelling. It's a good example, good store to check out for jewelry. And I know we've got 2 people now who do jewelry. Does that help?
It does and it doesn't. I mean, I've been doing this for many years, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, right? I'm sure you have too. I've been in fashion for many years, maybe up to 20 years, and it's, And I think where I find that is I'm not always abreast. Change happens so quickly with internet. I'm not abreast. I feel like I'm always 2 steps behind, and it's dragging. I feel like I'm in a Groundhog Day.
Oh no.
Every day is the same thing, and I'm trying to break that cycle, and it's hard to decide it's hard to find what that thing is that breaks your cycle, and it's different for everybody. And I think that's where I'm at now. Like I said, the success in the stores are pretty decent. It's converting it into the shop, and I don't know if and I'm like, and I don't want to throw money at things that don't work, because I've done ads and stuff like that, and I find a lot of people come to the site, and I just think that the conversion that's what's bugging me. It's not converting. I can put an ad, and I put ads on. I had for many months to test it out, and I just feel like I'm throwing money at it, and nothing is sticking.
What's your average product price? Typical product, how much?
It runs between maybe, I would say, close to $200.
Okay. So with a $200 item, with a jewelry, that's not hugely expensive, but it's not an impulse purchase, right?
No.
So you're going to need a lot of touch points, like between 3 and 8 touch points before someone feels comfortable buying from you. So are you doing any remarketing with the store, remarketing ads?
Not really. I mean, so how it works with me is that I've joined some platforms and brick and mortar, and they've done a fantastic job in marketing themselves and their products, and that's where I get my exposure from. I sell in New York City, in London, a little bit in LA, a little bit in Hong Kong, and Tokyo. And yeah, you know what? I don't know. I'm lost. I feel like I'm just in a haze right now. I mean, like I said, it sells in the store, and I have Instagram where I post back things. I have that social media stuff, but I just feel like it's not drawing people into the shop, and I don't know what the reason might be. Like, and I'm obviously not doing this correctly.
Maybe not. I mean, it could just be a missing. Actually, I don't know. I mean, fashion and apparel and jewelry is so foreign to me that I fully admit that I'm not great at it.
Sorry? I didn't hear that.
I heard someone jump in with something, which is fine. You're welcome to jump in.
Yeah, I just find that, I don't know. I feel like I'm like a groundhog day. And it's not, it sells in the shop. I just want them to convert to my idea is that I would like to have more control of course, because
same as the Amazon sellers.
And I find that, I just can't convert them. I can't change them over. And I'm not sure what it is. So I feel like maybe it's technology and I'm just like 2 steps behind.
No, it could be something as simple as copywriting. Where you need to communicate whatever that brand value is better. It's hard because jewelry is such a personal thing and the value is so ephemeral.
Yeah.
And I think that admittedly, that's why I'm not great at it, because it's very difficult to communicate it.
No, it's true. Yeah, no.
I would look at, you could try and leverage the retailers more, like start with brand building there. Maybe in the packaging, that might be the place to start. I don't know. I don't have a great answer for this one.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I will. All right. I got 13 people here. I'm going to move forward if that's okay. Mr. James Piper, how are you?
Good.
I admire your beard.
Thank you. It's a lot of patience.
Yes.
So my question is, I'm trying to, one of my biggest competitors just released a Kickstarter. And so I have like a month of where like traffic has really spiked and I've noticed it, but I can't really figure out how to like get some of their traffic, I guess, or like piggyback on their campaigns, I guess. Because I can tell that they really kicked up their marketing and we sell a very small niche product and it's like, we're kind of educating people what it is. And so it's kind of hard because no one really knows what it is.
Okay. Well, this is good. If awareness has spiked about the product, same deal if through content marketing, if you write like some fresh relevant articles for your blog, for YouTube, that kind of thing, people are more likely than ever to find them. And then, remarketing to them to get them to buy is a great way to do it. If you're really really lucky, and the other brand is big enough, sometimes Facebook will let you include them as an interest. So then you can market like right to their fans.
They're not.
No? Okay. So, and maybe if it's, well, do you want to share what the niche is?
It's a tailgating game where you drive nails into hammer.
Stump crafters.
Yeah.
You're stump crafters. Right. Okay. I recall this. And someone else is already doing this on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They
Well,
already spent like $20,000 on it or something like that, and like they're not even shipping product, and it's irritating because I'm the only one that actually has something I can ship today.
and they raised 20. Well, so again, it's an audience building thing. I mean, this might be a reason for you to say, like, turn the ordering off on your website and start your own Kickstarter. I mean, if there's enough people out there and they can raise 20 grand on Kickstarter, maybe you should too. You know, Kickstarter doesn't cost anything. It's just it's time to create it. And then you can
have all the videos and everything I would need for it. So that's actually not a bad idea.
And having talked to other people on the podcast with successful Kickstarters, the magic sauce, the dark secret that Kickstarter doesn't tell you is that all the successful ones used Facebook ads to drive people to the site.
Okay.
But I think with something like this, it's probably a pretty clear demographic as to who's buying it. I'm trying to figure out how you would like define it clearly.
I've tried several different ways looking at the different interest groups and stuff, and it's like it's around tailgating, but it's not really very clear as to who actually tailgates, because it's like the 40-year-old dude that's like has a wife and kids that want something to go do, or it's the 18-year-old that's like, I want to go party. And so it's very hard to like nail down who that person is.
I picture like 20-something person.
But see, it's only been like people over the age of 40 that have bought it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, my assumptions are wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see if someone else does something, like if they had success on Kickstarter, I think that's worth a shot for you. Like, especially since you probably already have everything you need to get a Kickstarter going. I'd give it a try. And then look at, what their messaging was and see if you can leverage off it. And ultimately, the space is big enough probably where you could just email the founder and say, hey, I'm doing this too. And would you like to jump on a 15-minute call?
Well, actually, I already have his phone number, so I might just call.
Yeah. I mean, it may be worthwhile. Some people aren't weird about it. If you have abundance mentality, it just depends what his mindset is. If he's got abundance mentality, then he'll have no problem, talking to you, or he or she, whichever.
Okay.
So does that help?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good. It's an issue of simple, like, because yours is really a very new space, it's trying to figure out who the buyer is and then targeting them. The hardest part is going from like zero to 60, and then going from 60 to 100 is the easy part. So
thanks.
Matthew Merald. Yeah, no? Okay. Gene Reese. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Kurt? A couple questions. I'm getting some organic traffic, and I'm not, like, I can do the Google ads, and I've done Facebook ads, and I can see every single person that comes, and I can see all the tags coming. When I'll get a run if somebody posts something on a direct link or an organic traffic, and I'm having a hard time seeing where the organic traffic is coming from. But I don't know if it's a Google Analytics thing or just how I've hooked it up. Is that, for example, this week, somebody posted in the comments on a YouTube video for cooking, and I sell knives and cooking tools. And they posted a link directly to one of my products, and I sold out within that week. And not until I kept getting, tell me when this is back in emails, and I asked them directly, where'd you find us? Was I able to really see that it was coming from a YouTube video's comments section link? I went through all my Google Analytics. Is that a limitation of Google Analytics? Is that how I've got it set up? Is there a better way to see where the organic traffic is coming from?
No, Google Analytics should give you, and truthfully, I haven't messed too much with Google Analytics in the last 2 years. Simply after they stopped giving you your keywords for organic search, kind of drove me crazy. And because Shopify has analytics in it, I spend most of my time messing with Facebook ads. And I haven't messed with it, but when I was last playing with it, you were able to get, especially like exporting out in a spreadsheet, you can get the exact URLs that people are referring from.
Okay.
It could also be like the platform. Sometimes they will hide the referrer data. Like if they want to, the website can hide its referrer information. And a big community platforms will often do this to make their links less valuable to dissuade spammers.
Okay.
Now that's just a guess. I have no idea if YouTube does this or not.
All right. So what do you use? If you're not using Google Analytics and I'm using Shopify, so what is the best way to find where that organic traffic is coming from? Because when I look at the orders, it just says that they came from, just as the link. It doesn't always have the link. It just kind of says organic traffic or Bing or YouTube or whatever it is. So it's not really obvious.
No, I still use, you should still use Google Analytics. I'm just saying that I personally, since I focus a lot on email and Facebook ads, I don't have cause to go digging through Google Analytics as often as I should.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that was all.
Okay.
But no, it should report what you want. And you're right to look for those opportunities in analytics and then try and leverage those. Especially though, if you've got people, commenting on YouTube and stuff is selling out, that sounds like it sounds like influencer marketing works for you. And I know just being a guy who's into everyday carry stuff, of course, there's lots of people, who are posting about knives and whatnot on a frequent basis. So finding like an influencer on Instagram or YouTube and then saying, hey, I'd love to send you, we've got this new knife. I'd love to send this to you to review, share with your fans. Do you think that would be worthwhile? And then they can come back and say, yeah, sure. Send it to me. Or I'll talk about it for 5 days for $200. Like you would be surprised how inexpensive that influencer marketing can be.
Yeah, that was really where what I was trying to solve for before I went that direction. I didn't want to go out there, throw it into the influencer and get all this traffic and not be able to really measure accurately from what I was seeing. Because even when it was happening incidentally, that's where I was trying to solve it. And maybe it's a little bit more technical getting it hooked up, but trying to see exactly if I had an influencer and I paid them $200 and they drove lots of traffic, I wanted to make sure I was being able to see that it worked that way. But yeah, that's
the way, really the best way to track it with an influencer and to give them social status where they look like the hero is give them a coupon code. That's like a unique coupon code. It's like 10% off this item. And then you just track those purchases, the usage of that coupon code.
Fair enough. Okay, cool.
The alternative way is to use UTM tags. So you can you can make a query string that's part of the URL that would say, but Instagram, you can't post URLs is the problem. But places where you could, like Google a UTM tag generator, and then you make a little query string and it will say, you could set source is referral : and person's name, like something like that. And then you could see it right in Google Analytics with UTM tags.
All right, try that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do that just to see, did the person come from an email? And there's no, an email will never give you a referring URL. So then we use UTM tags to figure it out. Where it'll just be source drip email.
Yeah. Right.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. I think and you mentioned the Shopify analytics, and I've seen it. I've got kind of the basic $30 whatever plan. Is there what are you using? When you're going through and you're kind of measuring things with your clients and you're walking them through how they should look at their dashboard of all this information coming in, what are you usually pointing them to? So
they have, if you're on the $79 a month plan and you look at reports, there's a section called, it gives you all kinds of really interesting reports like website cart analysis, but there's a section called acquisition, and it will tell you visits by refer, by marketing campaign, and that's where it uses those UTM tags, and that's very helpful.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I wouldn't say it's mutually exclusive between Shopify reports and Google Analytics. I think you can use both. I just find the Shopify reports easier and quicker. But what I like about Google Analytics is you can make the dashboards, and it's much more detailed and nuanced.
Okay.
So, and that also answers Josh Sherbert's question. Let's see, who have I not heard from? Well, anyone have a question? Care to jump in? Go ahead.
I would have a couple of questions, Kurt.
Sure.
And I first wanted to say I really like your show. It's really inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So the first question I would have for you, so we're basically going to launch an app very soon.
Okay.
I think I already contacted you on Facebook about some ads on your show. So I was wondering, what is the best practice when you want to launch an app and you don't have a radio show like you do to promote it?
Is the app a Shopify app?
Yeah, it's a Shopify app.
Okay, so I will open the kimono. I'll tell you all about Crowdfunder. I have one app. It took us like 8 weeks to develop. It's very quick. Developed it and then launched it in the App Store. So number one, in the Shopify App Store, that is our big acquisition channel. They let you set your keywords, and then you will always show up for those keywords in searches. So if you could make it really relevant, give it an easy name, and then give it a nice explainer video, with zero marketing, you will get installs. And then it's a matter of keeping them, because it's actually, the churn rate is like 50%. Like I will see people install and then uninstall the app 15 minutes later. Like I expect half of people to do that. We're at 50 installs for our app as of today, having launched it in November. And the only marketing I did was, I believe I sent one email, and then I did an episode about it on the show and then talked about it. And that episode would have been downloaded probably 2,000 to 3,000 times in the first week. So you really don't need a podcast to promote it. If it fills a void, if it fills a niche and you post it in the App Store, you will get ads. From that point on, really the best would be grassroots efforts. So like trolling those Facebook communities and looking for opportunities where you could say, yeah, hey, like they do, like Jonathan Kennedy and his Hey Carson group, the Shopify Entrepreneurs group, does partner posts, partner expert Thursday post or partner Thursday. So you could just say, hey, I've got this app. It's helpful. It's got a free trial. If you'd like to try it and you have any questions, let me know. Those grassroots efforts work very well. And you can also run Facebook ads. I get ads from Bold, I see them pop up in Facebook, because Shopify, you could do interest target Shopify, and you'll be able to target store owners and partners that way.
Great.
And ours is a bit of a side hustle, but that's where I would start. And then from there, the stores I've seen grow, or the apps I've seen that really explode, do mostly a lot of content marketing.
Okay, content marketing, great. And the next question I would have for you, if you don't mind me asking 2 questions in a row, is just, so basically right now we're really working on our backlink strategy. We've done a lot of the SEO checks, and it was saying that one of our weaknesses is that we didn't have enough backlinks. So I was wondering so I've been reading a lot on the subject, but as somebody says one thing, the other person says the other thing. So just wondering from your perspective, how much for, let's say, budget should we invest on backlinks, and how much backlinks should we maybe try to generate per month? New ones.
I don't at all obsess about SEO, so I really don't have an answer for that one. In that, I don't measure it. I have no idea how many backlinks I've created. If you focus on good content marketing, then people will link to it, people will share it. It will happen naturally on its own.
Okay, great. Yeah, just the way our project is so niche that it's hard to have people that want to talk about us, so that's why No,
I think it's easier. I think it's counterintuitive, but niching down has always been the best way to do it. If you're it makes it really easy to say, hey, if you have this one edge case, pain, or problem, then you have the best solution for it.
Okay, great. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kurt.
My pleasure. And as Neil said, don't buy backlinks. Yeah, not a good idea. Google frowns upon this. Other questions? Anyone jump in? Happy to help.
Kurt, it's Karen.
How are you? I see just a wall, but go ahead.
Well, what you're seeing is what I sell.
Oh, very good.
Okay, so that is artwork. It's textile rugs made out of recycled clothing, and
Cool.
it just happened the camera was facing that way, so I'm going to turn around and face me. So you got a person in here.
There we
That's
go.
me. Yeah. And I'm seriously lost, and I've had a store for a year, and I'm at the lowest possible excuse me, traffic. Did that work?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can see you.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
good.
Shopify sent me a little email. It said you were in the top 75 or top 25% of same age stores, which is really kind of sad because I'm close to nothing.
Well, most stores, are like dev stores or test stores.
Stores,
that
yeah.
Get zero traffic. I have a graveyard of test stores I've built.
Okay. So
that wildly skews it.
That's people just doing what? Putting the store up to see what happens?
I think there's a lot of people who start a store in the free trial and just don't do anything with it. That's part of it. There's people like me who just say, hey, I want to try this app. And then I spin up a free store, install the app, play with it, and then kill the store.
Okay.
So that wildly, skews things.
Yeah. So most of them aren't even real attempts.
Yeah. So that's, I wouldn't, they share those numbers with you. And it's nice if it's like, oh, I'm in the top 1%, that kind of thing. Of course, that's great. But other than that, for the most part, I don't find those emails useful at all.
Okay.
Truthfully.
Well, it's just, it was kind of like Shopify's not making its money off of me. So what's going on here? The rug like that one sells for $900. It's a one-of-a-kind thing, not duplicatable. What I have been doing is photographing it and offering print-on-demand textile products, dog beds specifically.
Okay.
And then I have them on Facebook and Pinterest and House, the interior decorator site. And most of my sales are coming out of House.
Okay.
Because it's
an interior design item.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not making enough, and I'm not sure what to do. And any thoughts at all? I'm guessing you don't play in the interior space much.
Right. Yes. So it's truthfully, I'm not, I've got a big blue office. I'm not into, and this is just how I inherited it when I painted it or when I got it.
At least you put up the soundproofing.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
So let's see so it's tough for me to relate to it personally, but generally, a product like this, you're going to want to look for marketplaces to sell it, and then start building that brand, and then you get the referrals through there. So, being able to sell this like, Etsy, Amazon.
Well, you can't sell print on demand through Etsy because the rugs exist, that's fine, but price-wise, I don't play on Etsy because I'm out-competed by people who are working for no money an hour.
I've noticed that about Etsy, is that it tends to people who just really hate making money.
They don't understand that recovering the cost of your materials is not profit.
Yes.
But then the print-on-demand apps don't make stuff available on Etsy. You have to have real product. Most of my inventory doesn't exist until you buy it.
Right.
It's all digital.
Well, how long could you take to make it?
It doesn't exist. The print-on-demand dog beds don't exist until I have loaded up the picture files.
I understand that. I just meant, would you be able to list it on a marketplace, someone places the order, and then you print on demand? I don't know what the lead time is.
If the app doesn't play with a marketplace, it doesn't work. I don't know.
Manually fulfill it?
You think I could? Okay, that's a like fake the product.
Yes.
Just totally fake the product. Make a listing when it comes into my store. Okay.
And then because you can manually enter an order into Shopify, and then if you've got the print and demand stored or attached to Shopify, that would then get it ordered and sent to the person if it was on a marketplace. So that's one workaround. To do this, to be able to use the marketplace, and then from there, that helps you build. Like then you could start building the brand where people. because you got to get like those initial best buyers who get it, find it on this marketplace, buy it, and then someone comes over, they go, hey, where'd you get that dog bed? I really like it. You go, oh, it's this brand, you know, and you have a little tag on there so they know what brand it is, that kind of thing. And then they Google it, and now instead of finding Etsy or the marketplace, they find your store.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And there is one print-on-demand app that just told me they send to Amazon. They can play on Amazon now. So you think it's worth pursuing that?
Yes, I've worked with enough people who say, like, who have either reached out to me or I've worked with where they say, hey, I've got this business on whatever marketplace, be it Etsy or Amazon, or eBay. And then, you know, like Josh Schubert here. And then they say, all right, so now I want to, like, I validated it. I have a real business there. Now I want to own the brand, own the customers.
And bring it home to Shopify.
And bring it home to Shopify. Because the issue, like, if you're starting from zero, it's tough. The hardest part is going to be getting that traffic and building that audience.
Forget the 40 to 60 or 60 to 100. It's the 0 to 1.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is validating it and getting that initial space. And that's why I like, you know, in tandem with Shopify is using these marketplaces. It could be Kickstarter, it could be any of these things, just to get that initial traffic. And then from there, okay, now I've got some people, I know who's buying, I can make more informed decisions. I can start getting word of mouth. And it just opens up lots of opportunities. As soon as, you know, we've sold to 10 people, it's like, okay, life, now I could breathe. Like I've got something to work from. Right. That's exactly where I am is not enough of anything to know anything's working. Yes. Yeah. And that is the toughest space to be in. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I will look at Printful then, because I'm not wild about the concept of totally faking it to go. That's one of the problems I've just recently really come to terms with, is how enormously much work it is to do Shopify, period. And where I'm supposed to be, on an 80-20 rule, is making more art. And I'm not getting to that at all. Nothing new is coming into the funnel because it's so much work to sell it. So I don't want to go with more work to fake a product, put it on marketplace. But if I could do it with Printful, that would work. Yes. And if Printful does it, then Guten will do it in a heartbeat. Okay. They'll all follow along. Good. Okay. So it sounds like you've got a place to start. You've got a next step to go. That's something I didn't have before I got on the phone. Yes. Good. So as long as ideally if someone asks a question and they leave feeling like they've got some homework to do, then I will have considered this a win. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks. Anyone else? Other questions? Care to jump in?
Hey, Kurt, this is Catherine. I know no one can see me because I have an old school computer without a webcam or anything.
I can hear you, and that's all that matters.
Okay, great. So I guess the question I would like to ask for you is twofold. We have a business that sells everything related to resin, so resin crafts, resin art, resin jewelry making, resin figurines, and that kind of thing. And I'd like to think I've done a really great job of creating a great blog to offer great content to get people in, and then sell associated products that we ship all over the world, and have gotten a good business that way. So my two questions are, number one, I've gone to some networking events recently where people were surprised to find out that in addition to being a blogger, that we also sold products, which incredibly surprised me, because I'm just like, I'm like, I can't believe you come to our website and don't know we don't sell stuff. So my first question is, what can I do better along that line? And then my second question is, we get a lot of people who come to our blog and you know, want advice and want information and all this and that and the other, and yet not make a purchase from us. And I'm convinced it's because, some of it is because we can't ship some of the products to them because some of the products we sell are hazmat type products. Okay. So there's a lot of people outside the U.S. we can't deal with. And then some of these people too, I know for a fact are getting advice from us, and then they're buying products on Amazon, or they're running down to Hobby Lobby or that kind of thing. So my second question then is, how can I make money off those people? So let's how about it?
Sure. All right. So number one, if they're surprised that you sell a product, it means you're not doing enough selling. So, I mean, you could put, if most of this traffic is like, you know, organic search, you're providing great content, they land on your blog, put a sidebar like throw a sidebar on the blog and put ads for your own products. Make like a formal banner ad and include it, at the end of the article, or on the sidebar of the ad. And you could also try to get them into an email funnel. And then in the email funnel, it's like, hey, here's featured content followed with here's featured products related to that content. And then, have like an exit intent pop up on the store. So when people land on the blog, go to leave, they opt into your email address or opt into your email list. Offer content upgrades. At the end of every blog post, you have your little box where they sign up for your email. For everybody here, building an email list is the most powerful thing you can do. And then you can also retarget them on Facebook. Like they visit the blog, cookie them, show them then ads for your stuff on Facebook. I think those are the good ways around it. But then you said, hey, people run away. They read our articles, then they run away and they go on Amazon. All right, well, 2 ways around that. You could sell yourself on Amazon and then link to the products as your own Amazon affiliate, and now you're going to get the money twice.
Okay, I like the idea. I guess we're doing everything. I'd say we're doing 90% of the suggestions you just gave. I mean, we do sell on Amazon, so you can find products on Amazon. We do have we don't have an exit intent strategy yet. It's not to say that I haven't worked on it, but we do use Opt-in Monster for new subscribers. And the funny thing I find is people come. I guess I was just surprised because when you come to one of our blog posts and you read how to do something or how to do this or how to whatever, I link to all the products I use, which obviously then link to our store. So I was incredibly surprised. So I do like your idea of having a little banner ad on the side. So I think I may give that a try and see if that makes it a little more obvious. Just to kind of make people aware, oh, I can buy stuff here. So I like that idea. I'm probably going to give that a try.
Yeah, I think, based on the feedback you got, it's probably that you're being too polite, you're not selling hard enough. And when you're providing a ton of educational value as you are, you get to sell that much harder. But your setup where it goes, someone searches a question, land on a blog that answers that question, and then you try to sell them via email, retargeting, or a direct link to the site. That's the funnel that converts the highest. I'll say that if you follow Ezra Firestone, that's like what the stuff he condones. That's really that's really a tremendous process because you're increasing touch points, you're building trust, you're establishing authority and expertise. If you're in a kind of a hobby space or any of these spaces where you have found a way to educate people, it gives you a huge leg up and advantage.
Okay, great. Thanks for the help.
Very good. Anyone else? Other questions? We've got 15 minutes. Happy to keep going.
Yeah, so I would have another question for you.
Sure.
And so we've just developed one app, and we're really thinking hard and brainstorming on what we should do next. So I was wondering, from your experience, and I guess you have a lot of emails from people who have Shopify stores, what is the biggest pain that you feel hasn't been solved yet by apps that are already available or by Shopify solutions?
I wish there were better, cleaner ways to do wholesale. So I think the best way to do wholesale is you create a separate store on a subdomain. So you have 2 Shopify stores. You got your regular store, then you've got wholesale dot whatever. And then there's no way to sync everything across between the 2. Even if you're on Shopify Plus, they go, we'll give you multiple stores, but they don't sync, they don't talk. So there used to be an app that would let you sync, export everything and import into another store. Having one that could sync would be really nice. Having a better wholesale solution. Look at stuff around that. And plus people who do wholesale, it's an easy, they see the ROI, because wholesalers spend more than a regular customer, but at a lower profit margin. I think that would be an interesting space to play in. But again, listen to all the questions we've heard here. And the answers I've given. A lot of people's problems are around traffic building because traffic leads to more revenue. So anything that helps people get more revenue, or Gene's question about Google Analytics, where he just wants to know who's buying, so then he can go leverage that, to try and grow that traffic source. So stuff around analytics that gives you actionable advice. That's the key. There's a bunch of analytics apps, but I think the really cool ones the ones, and there used to be one called Sumall that doesn't exist anymore, that try to give you like, hey, here's advice, here's something you could do. Or like Kit CRM that Shopify bought. That was an app that it prompted you every morning. You got a text message from it where it's like, hey, here's a thing to do. It's giving that actionable advice. So I think those are a lot of ways, but you've got, if you start a new app, you've got an email list, just ask people, say, what would you like to see? What would help you? And people all have different solutions, different ideas. I keep all this stuff in a spreadsheet. And then when something stands out, it's something comes across as the intersection of like, okay, I can help there. And there's a bunch of people that it would benefit, then I do it.
Great. And so you said there was an app that used to be good to sync different Shopify stores. Do you remember what was the name of the app and why they don't exist anymore?
It was a Shopify employee who made it, and he just it was free, and then he abandoned the project, I believe.
Okay, great.
That's what happened. I don't remember the name.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kurt.
I have a follow-up question to talking about email list building. Obviously, that's an important part. I mean, I've listened to so many podcasts about it, and there's tons of great ideas. And then, I listened to like Neil Patel, and they're talking like, the pop-ups are starting to like decrease your rank in Google, but I still see them on every site. Do you think that, exit intent pop-ups and content upgrades are still the best way? Because we're selling physical products, so most of our blogs are more story-based. They're not as much of a content upgrade. Obviously we can give a 15% or 10% discount, but didn't know if there were any other like, hey, stick with the pop-up strategy, just continue to do that, or if there were any ideas you had for product-based companies.
So when Google says like, all right, it's now a negative thing to have a pop-up, what they were referring to is interstitial pages. So like if you go like to a Forbes article, you get that thing that pops up that's like, here's an ad, continue in 3, 2, 1, go. That's the thing that they hate. So a regular pop-up is still okay. You won't have issues with that. And Forbes is still running those stupid interstitial ads. I saw one yesterday, right? So how bad could it be? But no, all Google wants is a good experience for users. So I don't see anything wrong with an exit intent pop-up. I know Neil loves his content upgrades. A content upgrade doesn't have to be fancy. It could literally be like, all right, you got 80% of the article. If you want, the 100% version, opt in with this content upgrade. Or even I've seen people where it's just like, if you want, you want to download this as a PDF and it's just a nicely formatted PDF of the article, opt in. And that was it. Like that was the whole thing.
Cool.
And even like I had I forgot who did it. I think it was Nick Loper from Side Hustle Nation. It's a podcast. His like big growth hack was his content upgrade was you got a PDF of the transcript of the podcast. So with any lead, like essentially that's a lead magnet. Any lead magnet, everybody, myself included, overthinks it. It really does not have to be that fancy or complicated.
Cool.
In fact, I think simpler is better because then it feels less like homework.
One more question,
sure.
if I can. This is something I'm kind of testing, and I wanted to kind of pitch it out there. I was the one who jumped in when Ona was talking. It just
okay, yes, I know someone was.
Wi-Fi
you're in this similar space. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do with my website, and I can post in the chat, but I'm trying to do with my website and with my advertising is really to take that retail experience and almost create it in a web format. So I'm actually filming soon is actually little like infomercials, almost like kind of like a QVC type thing.
I love it.
And talking about my products, because my products really need explanation because they're so story based. And with jewelry, everyone wants to see the designer and see the inspiration. So I'm actually going to do some Facebook ads.
Okay.
I can email you and let you know how they go. But really just like, hey, I'm Logan, I'm the designer. Here's my pieces. Let me tell you the stories about them. And throw those out on Facebook. And I have really targeted audience that have been profitable. So hopefully that I can continue to target those people. But then
let me stop you there. Number one, do this. And when you think you've got a result figured out, let's talk about it on the podcast.
Cool.
Going through that your Facebook strategy, your story, I think that would be valuable for people. Cool. But all right, go ahead. I stopped you.
But my follow-up is if anyone, maybe anyone can jump in or you jump in, that someone who's done maybe something unique in the video space on Facebook, just because I have product films that are full production, $5,000 films that have really done really well for us. They've given us about 20 to 25,000 ROI. But now I'm at the point where those films, they kind of lose their value after a while because everyone's seen them. My targeted audiences have seen them.
Ad fatigue.
Yes. And so now I'm thinking, okay, if I do this QVC style thing, I didn't know if there's anything you saw, oh, well, Beard Brand did this that was cool, or any live video. I don't know. I just thought of.
So my feeling on video is do it, right? It doesn't, it's such a great medium because people can see you, they can hear you. It's a very personal medium. I think for the same reason, my podcast works as a lead gen tool because people, like, I'm myself there as I am on the phone. I think that helps. But, again, it's this personal medium, but it works exceptionally well for Facebook ads just because, hey, there's this moving thing in my feed. But one interesting thing I've seen is that if it's too polished, if it looks like a commercial, then it still performs well, but it doesn't perform any better or necessarily quite as well as maybe something a little less polished, just because it's your Facebook feed. You're used to seeing like the lo-fi videos of your friends. I posted a video of my cat opening my dresser drawer today, right? Like that's the stuff you're used to seeing on Facebook. So having something super polished can sometimes work a little bit against you, but at the same time, like Facebook ads their videos perform so extraordinarily well just because it's like, hey, this thing is moving and is interesting and I need to check this out. But my only fear with doing what you described is that it might be too long, where we've definitely seen 15 to 30 seconds being the sweet spot for click-through rates on ads. And then the people who do click through convert really well. So maybe do like a shorter version for the Facebook video ad and then send them through to the longer version as part of like a landing page where, hey, I can also then scroll down and buy the product.
Yeah. And I can definitely confirm the production value. I see a lot of people commenting on my videos and saying, wow, such a cool video, but they're not converting because they see this, they almost think the film is the final product. And some of the ads that I've done that are just, customer pictures or videos that I made, like a live video on my cell phone, have been better converting videos. So I can just attest to that.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, and it's not to say like you shouldn't do, something polished and good and nice. It would still work well. I've just seen, and you'll like, if you can make it funny, like it'll get a lot of shares, and then you kind of make it up with that. Especially if it's like a funny video. But yeah, like what's nice about video is the bar is lower. Where I think, at this point everybody's got a camera in like half the devices they own, and it's perfectly okay to just do that. Like this setup, I'm using, a $70 LED light I got off Amazon, and it like and a $50 webcam, and it looks great. So,
cool, thanks.
Other questions? Anyone else?
I got a question on free plus shipping offers. So I have another store that we sell super high-end cornhole beanbag toss games.
Okay.
And our differentiating factor is the finish that we have on top is completely waterproof, so you can almost leave them out in the rain. It's almost like the nicest, it's basically the nicest set of cornhole beanbag toss things that there are.
Hold on, if you've got that store and successful, I would imagine like that's a very similar space to the Stump game. Have you tried just selling to those customers? Or sell it in that store?
Hold on, say that one more time.
All right, so you're selling cornhole game, or whatever, like beanbag toss, whatever you want to call it. I think it's like a regional difference in the name. Those people are probably similar customers to Stump crafters. Have you considered just offering the Stump product to those people, or even in the same store?
Yes, but the cornhole store it's just now launching, and we're having issues because they're like $500, where most people are used to paying $200.
Right. So you have a super premium cornhole game. Okay, cool.
But I'm trying to implement the idea of doing the free plus shipping offer on that store. So I'm just kind of a partner with that, whereas I own the Stump Crafters thing completely.
All right, I got you.
So that's kind of why they haven't joined forces yet. But I was just trying to get your ideas on how you would do something where, like, I was thinking I could take like a 3-inch by 6-inch piece of plywood with the finish on it and like show it and like send it to someone for like $3 or $4 worth of shipping. Does that sound like the type of free plus shipping offer that would be useful?
On a $500 item that's like very premium in its space, absolutely. So I'll give you an example, that worked on me recently. There's a place that sells, I think they're called race tiles. I forgot the name, which isn't great for my example. But they sell like these big 12 by 12 floor tiles for your garage to make your garage look really nice.
Oh yeah.
And their free plus shipping offer is just you like pick one tile, we'll send it to you. And to get it, you just have to fill out like this thing to get a quote where you give them the dimensions of your garage and what kind you like. And then they send you a quote on like, hey, here's the price. And then, so sure enough, I got like in the mail a brochure for the thing and one of the sample tiles. So now like, whenever my wife goes, okay, fine, you could blow $1,000 on floor tiles for the garage, right? Then I like, there's no way I go to anybody else. I go straight to this one where I got the sample and it was cool.
Okay.
So yes, I think that would work.
Cool.
And it really helps ease them into it where they could see like, yeah, this is a legit professional company. And when they see the quality of it, like on the free sample, they're like, yeah, this is nice. This is worth $500.
Should it be done as a separate product that is like free, or should it be like a pop-up with an email offer? Or how do you think it could actually be implemented in the store the best?
Both. Do it both ways.
Okay.
Do it as so if it's an expensive product that doesn't convert well, that's where you want your sales funnel to be like, hey, get your free sample. So let me find that like garage race floor tile. Let's see if I can find the site. And, let's look at how they do it. Racetech.com is the one I'm thinking of. And when do they offer it to you? It's as soon as you view a product. Yeah, once you viewed a product, then it's okay. Then the call to action is design your garage floor, and then that walks you through sending one.
Okay.
So they want you to kind of like first you need to raise your hand and say, I'm interested in this product. So it's once I'm on the product page, instead of trying to get me to buy the product straight away, it's saying like, well, let's check this out first. They're easing me into it.
Okay. You don't think a pop-up on a product page would be a terrible idea, do you?
No, because the people who have landed on the product page are saying like, yes, I'm interested in this. But you could also do it like customize the product page where you have, just include a button, like it could be add to cart or get free sample and just have two buttons next to each other.
Oh, I like that.
I got an example of that too.
That's cool.
Let me drop that in here. So this is a custom theme that we did design and development on, but you could see it's like add to cart and then find a retailer.
Yeah.
Because again, like this is jewelry, it's super high touch, super expensive. A lot of people are going to want to try it on. So our solution was, all right, we just send them to find a retailer, which is the Bold App store locator app, which is inexpensive and fantastic if you've got retailers. Let me type that note in there. Bold Apps store locator, put that in the notes. Very good. Cool. So it is noon. I said we'd do this for an hour. I have a lunch date at, thank you, Logan. I have a lunch date at 12:15. Logan, scroll down to the video. Isn't that the coolest thing that we got that video in there? My business partner, Paul Reed, who's a front-end developer, did that. It's like the coolest thing. Anyway, so I got a lunch date at 12:15, but before that, I'm happy to answer another one or two questions if anyone has one. Nay, I have answered everybody.
One more question. Do you have one of the previous podcasts you talked about? Yeti Gathon was talking about Kickstarter. They ran their own Kickstarter and they spent I think it was $5,000 on Facebook ads just to kind of launch it. I forget which one it was.
I'm gonna if off the top of my head, I would guess that is Reed Covington, who works at Factory and launched Chargemander, which is a Pokemon-themed charging or battery phone case.
Yeah, that's it. So just kind of getting just some different benchmarks. I thought that was really helpful just to kind of know the budget of what it should be if you're going to try to launch something like that. So kind of getting an idea of what where should you be with a newsletter list as far as, you know, how many customers you're kind of, you know, what's a reasonable pace? You know, if everybody knows the benchmark of traffic conversion, right? If you get 100 page hits, you should convert 1% of those to sales, right? That's kind of the starting point. So if you're 6 months, 12 months, 14, or, you know, 18 months in, where should your newsletter list be? If you're focusing on content, I do a weekly newsletter broadcast, and then I post all those to a blog, and then I also kind of repost those to whatever social. Just trying to get an idea of where I should try to, you know, what's kind of a normal organic growth rate for that content marketing. Again, your garden analogy, and then how do I kind of juice that, or how do I know that I'm making progress versus just, great, I'd like 10,000 signups overnight, but I know that's not.
Okay. So
Right.
if you just compare numbers between stores, even in the same industry, you will flat out make yourself crazy. Like if I compare myself to other people in my space, like I got a couple friends whose email list dwarfs mine by 10x. And I'm like, man, I'm doing something wrong here. But then I compare it to someone else who will be like, oh man, I wish I could have your list, Kurt. Like, okay, you'll make yourself nuts if you try and do that. So the safe answer is compare it to yourself. Just if you can do better than the previous month, be it like total signups, be it conversion rate, be it subscription rate, just always compare to your previous 30 days. And just look at, all right, can we like pick one or two metrics, one or two key performance indicators, and say, all right, we're going to work on that this month. And then the advantage there is, like, there's a risk that, you know, you end up at the end of a year and realized instead of going a mile forward in your business, you went, you know, a foot in every direction.
Right.
So that's what you want to avoid, you know, by running from thing to thing and comparing yourself. So just every month, pick one key performance indicator and work on like improving that over the previous month.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
And then for content marketing, do you dive into, I think you had the guy with the CrossFit store a little while ago.
Yeah, Peter.
Talking
I think that was
about
Peter Keller.
Yeah, he made a really good case for content marketing, and I really bought into it. But I guess the question is, how much do you really track, or is that one of those key metrics of people reading your content? Right, with Sumo or SumoMe, you can kind of track where the eyeballs go and record things. Should you be worried about whether people are reading it? Should be worried about lead magnets or how those things are converting? What's a good way to kind of quantify the content marketing?
That's a good question. So number one, I mean, you want to do it by number of eyeballs. To answer Logan's question, in the chat, Logan asked, Kurt, was the Monta product page custom coded or using an app? I love it. That is entirely custom coded, works with there's no fancy apps there. We just designed it, developed it. You could do whatever, design wise, you could really do whatever you want in Shopify. All right, sorry. Gene, so, I mean, it's up to you to decide what key performance indicator works for you. Probably depends on the business too. But I mean, number one, you want to look at the basic one, which is, all right, how much organic traffic does this blog article get, right? So first look at that. And then if you were to, you could run like Facebook ads and remarketing and try and track them through a sales funnel and see, okay, what kind of conversion rate do we get? But truthfully, you know, the more traffic you drive, the biggest impact on conversion rate, or the biggest factor affecting it, is going to be quality of traffic. So someone who's looking for a thing but isn't necessarily shopping, like that, those people could become customers, but it'll drive your conversion rate down. So that's why I say focus on one KPI a month.
Okay, good.
I don't know if that quite answered the question, but yeah, I mean, like, you want to be data driven, but to a point. I mean, at some point you start making yourself crazy.
Yeah, maybe heading on the edge of that.
Yeah, well, I kind of sense that. Like, some people get too wrapped up in it, and it's good to look at your data, but you know, you want to also combine it with, like, you know, with your gut instinct. Otherwise, you very quickly go nuts.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Cool. All right, I think that's a good place to stop. What I'm going to do, so I recorded this. I'm going to send it to everybody at the end. Well, probably like at the end of the day today or tomorrow. I'll send it out, and that way you have it and you can go back over it. And of course, if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer those. Just email me. So last question, was this helpful? Was this useful? Yes, I see heads nodding. Very good.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes, thanks
Good.
so much.
So I'm going to try and do it again in the future, and I will send out an email when I do.
Kurt, just a sec. Somebody asked, I said in the chat, Shopify photo processing, photo managing ROTS. I didn't mean Shopify ROTS. I'm fine with Shopify, but what you can do with their images is just, I have no control, no power, no nothing compared to what I have in WordPress.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's no like front end controls for resizing.
Yeah,
images
I can't do.
like
I can't
WordPress
do.
has.
Right, they give me 3 sizes. That's all I got. I can't do captions. I can't do blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
No, there's not. That management is not as easy as or as flexible as in WordPress. And we've been a Shopify exclusive agency for 2.5 or 3 years now. But prior to that, we also did WordPress stuff. And we did like Verizon, the NFL, Hilton Hotels. We did built themes for them. And that was where like you really had to foolproof, come up with like foolproof image management systems.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the same if you're comparing
Yeah.
WordPress and Shopify.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
So
Just want to
cool.
be clear. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks everybody. I will send out an email, and this was fun. Hopefully it was valuable. And I will talk to you all soon.